Still Crazy After All These Beers is brought to you by our friends at Michelob, crafting a better beer. And Porta Pong, the world's #1 best-selling inflatable beer pong table at portapong.com.
Gary Monterosso, it's still crazy after all these beers. Wow, we're on the beach, but we're indoors. Mr. Lionel Schnell, what do you think of this environment here?
Oh, sitting on the beach, feet in the sand, and a view of the Atlantic City skyline, and beer bottles in the background. You can't beat it.
I'll tell you what, how can you go wrong? And the great thing about this is that the climate never changes. It's always sunny and about 75 degrees, huh?
Beautiful in here, the pier at Caesars. We're here as part of the beer garden event, and it's a great afternoon. A lot of people enjoying a lot of good beers here.
And speaking of good beers, now you represent, as you mentioned, Kramer Beverage. Tell us what that's all about, because I know you got a lot of new things going on in the company.
We created a specialty products division to market craft, micros, imports, specialty beers, and we previously represented Magic Hat, Duvel, Omegang, Erie Brewing Company, a number of others, but we're actively searching for new beers that maybe haven't arrived in New Jersey yet, and we're going to make them part of our portfolio.
Now, when that happens, and let's face it, you're not the only show in town. There's other companies looking to do the same thing. If you see a company, let's say, that's looking to get into the Garden State, do you actively, speak with them and deal with the competition? How does this done?
Well, we've spent time at the Craft Brewers Conference in San Diego last year, in Boston this year. Went up to the Fancy Food Show at the Javits Center in New York, and talk with brands that are presenting there, maybe new to the country, new to this part of the country. And we're also looking to branch into other product categories as well, but beer is our main focus.
And as we're taping this, of course, the Presidential Beer Summit recently took place. Do you think that a national emphasis on beer is something that keeps the beverage in the public's forefront, keeps the beverage in the public's mind more?
Well, I think there's a definite trend towards pairing beer and food. We're glad that beer is getting its 15 minutes of fame, so to speak, but I think it's a lot longer than that for an ancient product like beer.
Absolutely. You brought up a very good point, and that is the pairing of beer and food is something that is really taking off. People like you and I mean, we've known for ages that we can pair beer with food, but now, as you mentioned it, we're seeing it in so many, obviously, brew pubs, but also some of the finer dining establishments around the country. It's a combination that really works.
In South Jersey, for our fans in South Jersey, we're enjoying little pockets where beer has become very popular, very beer-centric accounts. Accounts like Carolina Blue, the Cork in Westmont, certainly in places like Atlantic City, Megan's Pub right here on the boardwalk, are all partnering with us to do beer and cheese nights, beer dinners. We're hosting an Erie Brewing Company beer dinner at Megan's. We poured the very first Palm Belgian Ale at Carolina Blue in Pittman just July 1st. And we'll be actively selling that product going forward. So it's been exciting to do lots of beer dinners and lots of beer pairings.
Now, you've got a bottle up here, and you know me well. We've known each other for several years. And this beer in front of us, if you backed me against the wall and said, Gary, there's only one beer you can have in this world, what would it be? It would probably be this beer, which is called Duvel. And of course, Duvel is a Flemish name for devil, because it's a devil of a good beer.
Duvel is an iconic Belgian golden ale, sort of hyper carbonated, so it has a fabulous head. These aren't exactly Duvel glasses, but they are still they'll work. And I know you're a Duvel fan. It's one of the brands we were pouring here today, so I wanted to enjoy a Duvel with you. We represent Duvel Omegang USA, and they own the brewery in Cooperstown that make the Omegang brands, and we're proud to represent them in South Jersey. So,
I used to think of Cooperstown as being strictly the home of the Baseball Hall of Fame, but it's given me a whole new reason to go there, to tell you the truth, because of the wonderful things coming out of that remarkable brewery.
Well, the brewery in Cooperstown, just outside of Cooperstown, is a true Belgian-style brewery. It was built and is now owned by Duvel, by Belgians, and they make some of the finest Belgian-style beers on this side of this pond out here. And we have Duvel in Omegang. Their Hennepin is their year-round beer. We've been emphasizing their Witte as their summer beer, but Rare Voss, their Abbey, all excellent beers.
You know, it's curious. You talk about the different styles of beers. It wasn't that many years ago that certain beers were earmarked as being seasonals. For example, you remember that stouts and porters were thought of as winter beers, and the wheat beers were generally summer beers. And that line is becoming skewed now, isn't it?
Wheat beers will tend to line up, and lots of people come with their wheat beers in the summertime, there's no question. But there are more and more wheat beers that are year-rounders. Blue Moon, Belgian-style wheat ale, is a year-rounder, and they have the 4 complementary Rising Moon, Honeymoon, Harvest Moon, and their Full Moon, their seasonals. Seasonals are becoming a bigger and bigger factor. For our Sam Adams seasonals are doing very, very well. Erie Brewing, who we represent, will be releasing a small amount of Fallenbach very soon. Probably when this airs, it should be on the shelves. They make a great product. Their flagship brand is Railbender, but I'm looking forward to the Fallenbach. And there are seasonals from Magic Hat. Magic Hat's summer seasonal became Wacko this year, which was a beet red color and sold out by the second week of July. So you might find well, you won't find it on the shelves when this airs, but here, as we sit here on August 1st, there's a few bottles left on the shelves out there, but it broke Magic Hat's summer seasonal records.
And you know, it's curious. You talk about the seasonals, the one-offs, if you will, but brewers are a lot like chefs. They're very creative people, and they love to do the limited edition beers. Think of a chef cooking the same foods day after day after day, which they do. But to come up with something brand new and to maybe utilize some brand new recipes, it kind of ignites them and excites them at the same time.
Well, my hero, Jim Cook, talks about what an exciting time this is to be in the beer business and for consumers to be exposed to all the different beers today, because there are so many choices. Craft brewers are experimenting. They're being adventurous. They're doing strange and wonderful things. And compared to the winemakers, as Jim points out, there's really one question: skins or no skins? Am I making white or red? They don't have the options that craft brewers have to cook with ingredients, the fruit beers, the additional seasonings, certainly to tinker with the hops, and it's really an exciting time.
You know what it is, and just when you think you've seen it all, someone's coming out with something brand new. So it just never ends, does it?
It's a challenge for the traditional companies like mine who are getting into this end of the business to manage the product, to manage ordering, because the Erie's Fallenbach is a good example. We'll probably only get about 75 cases of that product, and for a company that sells millions of cases a year in our market area, managing small amounts like that is a challenge, but it's important that we do it, because the true beer lover out there loves the variety, loves the change, and wants the latest and newest, and we're there to provide it.
And I got to tell you, Lionel, Schnell, you're bringing some great beers in the South Jersey area. We're sitting here on the indoor beach in Atlantic City at the Atlantic City Food and Wine Festival here at the Beer Garden, and enjoying this wonderful Duvel. Lionel, thanks for joining us today.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, and we'll see you next time on Still Crazy After All These Beers.